Hello, my every people. Good morning, good day, good night, good evening, afternoon, and or wherever you are. Good to you, good on you. Looks like we got a fun group of people here already. My parents are here. Always nice to see it. Looks like we got Wango Tango. Wango Tango's username on my personal chat is almost the same color as the chat, and there's a couple of people that do that, so I always have to look close. We got Wango here, we got Tom, we got Renee, my most awesome daughter in the whole world. Susan is here, awesome. Everyone, welcome, thanks for coming in. And Susan is pointing out that writing guitar parts is fun. Susan is an exception. One of the things that I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Susan again in a few songs. We're gonna be talking about Susan again, but Susan is actually writing a song that is going to go on one of my albums, and this will be an absolute first. I have talked about, and I intend to at some point write an album where it's all going to be like the sixth song that we played tonight, "The Rain Is Speaking to Me," and it's largely piano based. And so Susan and I were talking, and she said, could I contribute a song to an album like that? And my initial thought was no, because I historically do not collaborate on these albums, but Susan's kind of a special case, so I said, yeah, let's do this. So I've seen what she's writing for me, and it is a cool piece of music. One thing I've said about Susan, and she may blush, because I know she's listening, I said that on her gravestone it should say, she wrote weird music, and she did it well. And that is a big compliment. She does extremely well at writing, well, music in general, but she does write weird music very well. And there's some very cool stuff in that piece. So I'm going to need to sit down and start writing all the other guitar parts and piano parts so we can actually do that album. So you couldn't make it out this year. I'm sure you guys could do next year. Yeah, we would love to have been out there, but with the COVID raging and me being a borderline germaphobe, it does not happen that way. So, and my daughter is also a borderline. I think my daughter might be worse than me. Yeah, travel plans did not work out this year. So everyone stay home, all right? Just stay home until it's over. Stay home, stay safe, stay alert, stay alive. All right, so one thing, I've always had this kind of issue with rock bands. There are a bunch of songs, and there are also a bunch of albums with the title "No Rest for the Wicked." There have been, movies and television series, "No Rest for the Wicked." What is it that rock and roll players have against the wicked? Aren't we supposed to be a bunch of rock and roll rebels? Aren't we supposed to be into the wicked? I mean, come on. So I took the opposite tack on this. This song is called "Rest for the Wicked." Doc says to say hi to everyone. Well, everyone say hello to Doc through the ether, as it were. And Glenn, since you're on here, I've been trying to get in touch with you. We need to do a Zoom session. You would ask me some questions about your website. And I no longer have any contact info for you. So if you could send me an email through themadpoet.net, that'd be great. And then we can talk more, communicate with our things. Whatever, man. Cool. So anyway, time to talk about Susan a little more. This next song we're going to play is called The Long Way Home. And after my first performance of it, she put up a comment that said, "Heavy Metal James Bond." And I wasn't sure if she was talking about the theme of the music or just that I look so dashing when I play the music. Either way, I took it as a very big compliment. And yeah, it does have a little of that kind of driving feel of really kind of getting us in there. And yeah, it almost said that the title to me almost seems like it should be a place to slow down, long way home, have a nice slow, but that's not what we're doing here. We're going to keep going with the chunk and the balls and the rocking and making that happen. So that's what's going on. Hey, Paul, what's happening, my friend? I haven't seen you in the streams in a while. I haven't seen you in real life in about, 35 years? I probably wouldn't recognize you anymore. But hey, glad you made it. Thank you very much for everyone coming in. Thanks for the compliments. Thank you very much. So we're gonna play some music here. We're gonna do a little E minor stuff here. Get about 147 beats a minute. This is called The Long Way Home, and it probably should have been titled Heavy Metal James Bond. Susan says yes to both. She meant it as the Dashing Randy and also the theme of the music. I'll take it. Dashing, I think, fits well. Dashingly handsome mad poet. Wingo, I don't know what's going on with your dad, but my thoughts go out. I hope that things work out well for everybody. These productions are so cool and hardcore. Thank you very much. I will take that as well. Glenn agrees. Very nice. And Glenn likes this. That is a fun song. This, I feel like really my best work extended through an 8-week period where I put out 10 weeks, where I put out like about 10 albums, basically albums 55 through about 61, 62. I felt like that was some of my best work, and I was just knocking it out. So this is an album. It's really weird to me that this whole album was written, recorded, produced, did the artwork, everything, 6 days. In the early show, a gentleman named Steven was on, who sometimes watches the streams, and he's like, how did you do an album a week? And I had to point out, of course, that in the last year I have done 0 albums, so it's not something I do all the time. But I did have that period of 11 months where it was an album a week, and the great thing is I learned so much about how I approach music, and a lot of changes in how I approach music through that time. It's been a very interesting journey, and I agree that this is some of my better work. And fun to play too. Those albums in that period, I think, are typically the albums that I enjoy performing the most. I mean, I love even going back to my old stuff like Infinity -1, Book with No Story, all that. Those are totally fun to play, but there's just something about the feel in these that, yeah. And so we'll see where the journey takes us in the future here. I've been learning a lot over this past year about production, and I'm holding up my next album for that exact reason. And I think some very good things have happened, and I still have a few questions that I would like to have answered for myself before I put that out, and we'll see. But I've written a lot of other music, and I am working strongly on my vocals. I've written quite a bit more for The Thief of Time, which will, if I put it out, be a vocal album where I will sing all the way through. And the jury's still out on that. Jury's still out. I did do a recording a few weeks ago that for the first time, I recorded my voice singing, and I was actually happy with it. Not just okay with it, but I was actually happy with it. So things are moving in the right direction. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Fortunately, I plan on living for about 900 more years so I can get all this stuff done. We'll see what happens with that. But maybe it's just limited visibility. Tom donated blood today. I missed part of that. I thought that you donated 6 3/4 gallons of blood today. That would have been a bad idea, Tom. I'm glad you spent 12 years donating that much. That's a lot of blood. And Glenn remembers Tom's blood type. Good. Hey, thank you very much, Tom. Much appreciated. And Glenn, thanks for the compliments. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. If anyone is just coming in, I am the Mad Poet. You are my audience. We are playing my 61st album tonight. This is called Bucket of Blood. I don't think I've mentioned this, but I am planning to do 2 more albums. I'm going to do Bag of Bones and Box of Bullets. Just so that I can play all 3 of those albums back to back. It'll be the B-list night. And it'll be fun. So those are on the way at some point. Who knows? Who freaking knows? So, what's going on here? You know, there is a thing, maybe I should mention this. Because I think that some of you guys might want to know about what's going on. I need a drink of water before I talk about this. Could get a little emotional. Hey, Sarita V! Welcome, thanks for coming in. Always nice to have you here. Always nice to have people in my viewer count. Even if you're not watching, just leave it running. Leave my viewer count up. That is good for me. Greatly appreciate it. And I always appreciate people who come in and watch and do not comment. That's perfectly okay. Lurkers are welcome. Thank you for being here, no matter how you are approaching it. So the thing that's going to happen here is that, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the G sharp minor portion of the show. You are welcome. This song is called We Have a Situation Here. Thank you very much, Tom. Greatly appreciated. Appreciate you being here. Also, definitely appreciate the donations. Thank you to all who donate and follow and watch and listen and smell my shows, because that is what we do here in the Mad Poet Society. Yeah. Cycling Virgil, how's it going with your guitar playing? I know a good teacher if you ever want lessons. Take some water, peoples. So you guys know what happens after we play a nice upbeat G sharp minor piece like that? We just keep it going with the G sharp minor, but we slow it down a bit. This is the song that is dedicated, my dedication song off of this album. And this is dedicated to my grandmother, who of course never heard this song because of her condition of being long dead. But this is the type of thing that I'm talking about when I will someday do an album of all piano-based music. It's going to kind of be this kind of a thing. This song is, we're going to keep the G sharp minor going, but we are slowing it down a lot. This piece is called The Rain is Speaking to Me. It always sucks when I have an extra audio track going and screw a song up. My bad. So, new strings make a very, very big difference, Tom. Absolutely. I'm glad you got new strings on you. That's something I don't do often. I don't like changing strings. These are the newest set of strings I've got on. They're a few weeks old, but I often go like, 8-10 months, sometimes more, without changing strings. And it does make a big difference. But someone asked about the skull back here. This is actually, I'm fairly sure that's a mule deer skull. I found that out in the desert. We were exploring around out there, and yeah, if you know where to look, it's pretty easy to find bones out in the desert. And I mentioned earlier I'm going to do a song called, or an album called Bag of Bones, and that one I know exactly where I'm going to get the bag of bones for my album cover. it is not hard to find. In fact, don't even got to go very far away from home. I could walk there if I wanted to. So, bag of bones. All right. So yes, apologies on that. I had an extra audio track going, so that probably sounded a little wonky. These things happen. Nonetheless, we shall move forward. It's not a Hanford rodent. No, it is not, in fact. Though, you know, there is some radiation not far from where we are at. Over there somewhere. And, yeah, we wouldn't want to be too close to Hanford. It's not a friendly place. But I don't know what I'm about to say. I felt like I had a build up. Like something was going to happen. You know, I had the pregnant pause, everything was ready, and then it just didn't work. Whew. Middle section of the show is getting rough. So we're going to move just one note away from G sharp minor. We're going to go into C sharp minor land, which is also very fun. We're going to pick it back up a bit because, you know, slow songs kind of suck. So let's make things happen. This one is called Reintegrating Our Shadows. see stuff going on in chat. Okay. The bridging 12 string is coming up from I received in the mail advice to hold it down after, Tom, I hope, or that's Glenn. So I hope that works. It's possible inside a guitar. So this, of course, a solid body guitar. In a hollow body guitar, there's bracing inside, and hopefully you won't have to glue the body back to the bracing inside. That can be a very tough thing to do. Let me know how that goes. Guitar repairs suck. It's a hit and miss world. I really hope that works out for you. It sucks when guitars break, man. Just set a breaker. I actually had a Gibson Les Paul. It was unfortunately stolen from me. Oh gosh, it's probably 12 years ago now. 10, 12 years ago. And that one, just within 2 months of buying it, it fell over and the headstock snapped. And it was just barely held on by this little thin layer of wood. And there was just this dead guitar sitting in my house. And finally I just shoved a bunch of glue up in there, leaned it up against the wall, put some weights on it. Worked awesome for several years until I broke it again in the exact same place, glued it together again, still worked great until it was stolen. So, guitar repairs can be done. And in fact, my green guitar that I also play most of the time, the one that's back on the wall somewhere, that actually had the headstock break like that once, because apparently I don't know how to get my guitars to not keep falling over because I'm a knob. So, boom! I have not gotten a cigar box guitar yet. That's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Glenn's got 13 guitars. I have 7. I have 8 here. Well, we actually have 9 in the house. Sarah's got a guitar that she picked up when she was in Costa Rica as a teenager. And I have my friends Scott and Sharon. That is their classical guitar that I put new strings on for them about 2 years ago. And unfortunately, they had like 6 months before we moved to pick it up. They were unable to get up there to do it. We moved over here. They've actually been by here once, and it just was not reasonable to stop in. So someday they will get their guitar back. It's there when they want it. They're awesome people. I've known them for like 50,000 years. And but I actually own 7 myself. And I'm really not on the market for new guitars. There may come a time that I wouldn't mind getting another Les Paul, because I really do like that style of guitar. I would be pretty selective about what kind of Les Paul I would get. These days I would not be willing to buy a new Gibson, because the Gibson company's just been terrible lately. And I don't know, possibly one of the ESPs. I've heard some good things about the Diamond guitars, have some good Les Pauls. I could see getting a 12 string at some point. I think that if I were going to get a guitar right now, it would probably be a guitar dedicated just to slide guitar. So I could have my jazz guitar for normal jazz guitar stuff and then do slide guitar. So we need to do some slide guitar one of these days. I am not prepped for that tonight, unfortunately, but one of these days coming up, I'll have to throw some slide in here. Nice, Taylor guitars are great. I saw an ad years ago, and I've never heard this guitar player, but the ad was just awesome. So for anyone who may not know out there, Taylor guitars are a very sought after brand, and also Martin guitars. And and the ad just said, with a name like Martin Taylor, is it any wonder he plays a Yamaha? And I'm like, dude, that is top level marketing right there. That's the top. You really don't get any better at marketing than that. So, I love playing slide guitar. I am a mediocre slide guitar player. Back during the days when I was about to start going crazy with my rapid fire music. I was doing a series of shows for, I don't know, year and a half or so at a local coffee shop, small little place you guys may have heard of called Starbucks. And at first I was just taking my red guitar in and I would just sit in the corner and play, just doing stuff, you know, background stuff. And then one day I said, my next show is going to be slide guitar. So that show was 2 weeks away. So I was like, okay, I need to go figure out how to play slide guitar. And I kind of knew, the alternate tunings and stuff. I know how to use, but so I just practiced for a couple of weeks. And I basically, and this is still what I do with slide guitar, I rely on the fact that I know my way around a guitar pretty well to play slide. So if you guys want to hear one of the best slide guitar players, look this woman up. Her name is I have to check my Discord to make sure I got the right name now. She's in my Discord. I linked to her in my Discord. Can I find this real quick here? I think it's Joanne Carpenter. And she is just crazy good. I don't see the post in here, unfortunately. I see some of my pizzas, and I'm also seeing everything in negative, so that doesn't help. Anyway, look up Joanne or Joanna Carpenter. She's this gal that she just gets on it with slide guitar. I was like, I just found out about her like a couple months ago, and I'm like, how can I only be learning of this woman now? This is fantastic. So good. I mean, just killer. $7,000 Martin? Yeah. I would say one of the coolest guitars I ever played. It was a Martin, and it was one of a series of only 150 they made with some kind of this really rare wood that they had gotten a hold of. And it was, I think that one was priced out at about $5,000. And I played it, and I just had to actually stop and physically look at the neck because it was like, this plays so well, it feels like I'm playing nylon strings. And it was a steel string guitar. It was like, if I'd had the $5,000, I would have been like, I'm going home with this. But I didn't. I had a lot less than $5,000, so I didn't buy the guitar. But it was killer. And the most expensive guitar I've ever played was $82,000. It was a Les Paul. It was, I think, a 58. I could be wrong on the year. There's 1 year of Les Pauls where there's only like 7 of them left. And there's this massive collector item. And I remember hearing at one point that someone had bought one of the 7 and like tried to refinish it and just destroyed it. So there are essentially only 6 around. And I'll tell you, playing an $82,000 Les Paul feels exactly like playing a $1,000 Les Paul. So if you're not a collector, it's really not worth it. Yeah. I know that year, that was, I followed that particular axe. I got really lucky. To this day, I will not say who let me play that guitar because I was asked not. And this was probably, oh gosh, over 20 years ago. I was asked not to, but I was in a very lucky position. And this person was like, hey, you want to play an $82,000 guitar? I'm like, yes, I do. That one had auctioned off for that amount. And they normally auction for anywhere from $75,000 to about $200,000. At least at that time. They may be going for more now. I don't know. I don't really follow vintage guitars much, but it was kind of a cool thing. It's kind of cool. This guitar is a lot less than $82,000. This one clocked in at about $300. So I put some new electronics in it, so maybe we're up to $400. That's much more reasonable. So the last guitar I bought, the black Ibanez, that one was $50. Well, that's my price range. Anyway, we should play some music because allegedly that's what we're here for. We are, for anyone just coming in, let me kind of refresh everything here. I'm the Mad Poets. We are playing my 61st album. This is called Bucket of Blood. We're moving into the 8th song. We're getting a little bit of B minor action here. We just moved out of C sharp land into some B minor action. This piece is called Directly at the Sun. It did turn out that the jig was not aligned right. I've been wondering about that. Glad we figured that out. People working overtime. Had to say a few compound words today because you broke drill bits. Been there, you know how that feels. Oh yes. So, I'm not sure if the people who are watching and listening right now consider themselves rebels or not. You may not. You may be a goody two shoes. You may be a rebel two shoes or a rebel three shoes. You might not have any shoes on at all. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the title of the next song is actually a bit of a command. And so the question for you is, are you the kind of person who's going to do what the song tells you to do? Or are you the kind of person who's going to go against the grain and do your own thing? We're going to find out. We're playing a little F minor here, getting about 142 beats a minute or thereabouts. And the title of this song is Do Not Listen to This Song. Looks like we've got another light that went wonky down below the desk there. Let me correct that. This one's pretty unobtrusive, fortunately, and it's also very easy to fix. And that's that. Back on channel 99, as that light should be. Okay, so we are moving in toward the end of the evening, my ladies and gentlemen. So, moving in on song number 10 here. And we've got 11 on album number 61, Bucket of Blood. I don't think I have anything crazy to say about this one. There's no real story behind this. So I'm just going to grab a pick and go. This is called Obsidian Eyes. All right, and yeah, if I forgot that I did not set my automated lights up for the last song here. Looks like we got some travel planning going on in chat. I fully approve of that. You guys just go ahead and plan that. I need to look something up here quickly, hopefully somewhat quickly. And because I want to do a little something at the end of the stream here. Nope, we're good. I was thinking about doing a raid, but none of the people I'd want to raid are on right now, so I thought that Holly Tatnell might be on. Holly Tatnell's a streamer I've watched a bit over the last few months, and one of my semi-regulars, Metal Diva, I don't think she's on tonight. She was at the earlier show. I met her through, she started watching my stream through the Holly Tatnell stream, and Holly's really cool. I think she's at like California, I could be wrong on that, but she does some of the most sophisticated looping that I've seen on Twitch. She's really good. She's a bit bigger streamer than I am, but still kind of a smaller streamer. Very cool personality. Stark contrast of musical styles between she and I, but I think that most people who like what I do, I find that people who appreciate this kind of more hard rock, heavy metal type of music tend to be very open-minded about what type of music they listen to. I've definitely met a few metalheads who are like, metal or die, but most of them like a pretty big variety. So nonetheless, we're moving in on the last song of the evening here. And this is one, I was speaking a little earlier about how I don't do collaboration. And particularly on these rapid fire albums, this is all me. I do all the artwork, I do the production, the composition, the recording, everything. And I'm pretty hard fast on that. There are a few exceptions. The first exception that ever got made was actually with my daughter. And she had texted me and said, hey, would you accept a suggestion for a song title? And I'm like, hit me up, see what you got. And this is not that song. I don't remember what the very first one was that she titled, she gave me a song title. But this is one of the later ones. And she had given me a few of them. And this kind of shows just what a completely twisted parent I really am to raise a young lady to come up with a song title like this. This piece is called Ascension of the Angel's Carcass. Awesome. Very fun song to play. Definitely one of my better song titles. Thank you, Renee, for being an awesome daughter and coming up with cool stuff like that. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. Thank you, Tom, for the excellent tip. If there are any tips that I missed, thank you very much. If there are any followers that I missed, thank you very much. But definitely thank you for coming in and viewing. Always love having you guys here. It is a great time. Quick little thing, our internet connection has been getting much more stable, and I think it's coming up real soon that I'm going to start doing a daily book reading like I was talking about like 6-8 months ago. That could be starting up in the next couple of weeks. I've been thinking very seriously about that. And aside from that, I will be back next Friday at noon and 8. Don't know which album yet. We'll figure it out at the time, and we'll see what happens. Thank you all again.